Taylor Swift fans tell everyone about Taylor Swift because they love Taylor Swift. I tell everyone about the shoes I have because I really like my shoes. Whatever it is, go for super fans, go for super customers because they will love you and they will spread the word for you. And that is the most powerful marketing. This is Building the Blueprint, and it's all about education and entertainment. Self-help content is great, but it gets really, really boring. And every single week I have an important and successful guest. And not only do we shoot the shit, but we have insightful conversations. So you both laugh and learn at the same time. I hope you stick around because this is Building the Blueprint. Welcome to a new series called 15-Minute Summaries. I'm really excited for this series because I love to read, but I know that most people don't, especially self-help books, right? Self-help books are kind of boring to a lot of people, but I love them. And what I'm going to do in this series is I'm going to summarize the self-help books that I read into 15-minute or less videos and podcasts for you, so that you can get my favorite tips and takeaways from these books in 15 minutes or less. That way you don't have to spend hours actually reading them. I still recommend you read all these books. They're amazing. And there's so much you can learn beyond my key takeaways. But for anyone who doesn't want to read them but still wants to learn from them, this is a nice alternative. So with that being said, the first book in this series is called This is Marketing by Seth Godin. Seth Godin is a marketing genius. When I say marketing, I don't just mean advertising. I mean creating a brand, creating a vision, creating something that you stand for. That's what he is all about. He's all about creating something that isn't just advertising. It isn't just trying to get sales. It's much more than that. And the way that he puts it is this. He says, time to get off the social media merry-go-round that goes faster and faster but never gets anywhere. Time to stop hustling and interrupting. Time to stop spamming and pretending you're welcome. Time to stop making average stuff for average people while hoping you can charge more than a commodity price. Time to stop begging people to become your clients, and time to stop feeling bad about charging for your work. Time to stop looking for shortcuts, and time to start insisting on a long, viable path instead. This is about real marketing and real change. So let's get into my key takeaways from the book. The first one I want to talk about is marketing is the generous act of helping someone solve a problem, solving their problem. And when you're marketing and when you're creating a product, you shouldn't just be creating something to sell. It's like, okay, no, what am I solving for this person? And the key there is this person, right? That's what Seth Godin talks about, is there's way too much I, there's way too much me, there's way too much, what do I like about my product, right? It's like, no, what do my customers like about this product? And what are my customers looking for? So you always need to be looking to help someone and help solve a problem of theirs. Second thing I want to cover that I love about his book is build something that people would miss if it were gone. Something that gives them meaning, connection, and possibility. Don't just try to make average stuff for average people, right? Like create something that people actually are going to miss when it's gone. That's something that's really difficult, but it's difficult to achieve, right? But it's a great North Star of, okay, no, I'm not just building an average thing. I'm building something that people are going to miss, right? I'm building a podcast that people are actually going to be sad if I don't post, on when Sunday comes around. They're going to be, where's my podcast, right? I have so many podcasts that I listen to where I'm excited for the next episode to come out. And that's my goal with this podcast. And you can, make that with your product. People should be sad when the product's, sad when your TV show ends. People should be excited when your new product releases, right? That happens with all these giant brands. People get excited when new Lululemon merch comes out. People are sad when Squid Games is over, right? That's because they're creating something that people will miss. The next thing is they want what it will do for them. They want the way it will make them feel. So don't say this product is great. It's going to save you 5 minutes. Or don't say it looks cool. Say, no, it's going to make you feel cool, right? Or it's going to give you status. It's going to make you seem rich. It's going to make you seem sexier. It's going to make you seem happier. Whatever it is. People want a feeling, right? I watch, for example, Squid Game. I love Squid Game. The feeling I get from that is like, like intrigue. Or I also feel a little status when I talk to other people about it. Because I felt like I was early to it. And when I talk to other people, I'm like, yeah, I'm cool because I found it first, right? Like there's a status thing there. Or if I buy a Rolex, it's like, no, I wear a Rolex because it makes me look powerful and important. And I don't own a Rolex, by the way. And so, people want your product for how it's going to make them feel. So always keep that in mind. Next is, when in doubt, assume that people will act according to their current irrational urges ignoring information that runs counter to their beliefs, trading long-term for short-term benefits, and most of all, being influenced by the culture they identify with. Stop assuming that people are rational creatures. We're not. People think, oh, I have the best price and the best product, so people will buy what I have. That is not true at all. People buy into brands, people buy into what they're comfortable with and used to. And assuming that we're going to make rational decisions is not true. And he tells a great anecdote here about selling glasses in India, and these glasses were, like $1. I think it was literally $1, maybe $5. And like it was super cheap. These people needed glasses. It would help them work more, and people weren't buying them. And it was like, okay, why is that happening? And there's a whole explanation to it that I won't get into. But the idea is, we're not rational creatures. You need to understand what's going on and play to that, right? If you play to that strategy, you're going to see a lot more growth. Next, choose the people you serve and you choose your future. I really like this one because this is one I haven't thought about before. Choose your market very wisely, right? Who your customers are and who your audience is very indicative of your future and how easy or hard it's going to be. If you're in the luxury yacht business, right, you're going to be dealing with billionaires, and there's pros and cons to that. If you're in the laundromat business, you will not be dealing with billionaires. It'll be people that, probably are on the lower end of the income spectrum. And it's not to say that either is better or worse, but it's to say that be very, very thoughtful of who am I serving? Because that really is going to end up causing you a lot of pain and frustration or relief. And be very mindful of that. Don't just go into it not thinking about the customers, because the customers are going to be the biggest part of your marketing experience and such an important part of your business, right? That's where most of your time is going to go. Everything gets easier when you walk away from the hubris of everyone. Your work is not for everyone. It's only for those who signed up for the journey. I love this one. This is top 3 takeaway from this book for me. It's all about, it's not for everybody. Don't create a product for everybody. That's a terrible strategy, and that's going to be literally impossible. Create a product for a few people. That's what I love about this podcast. And it came to me, and I was like, okay, great. If people give me shit for this podcast, right? It's like, well, no, this isn't for you, right? This is not for you. You are not my audience. You're not going to get it. And that's totally, they are right. To them, it's stupid. But to the right person, it's the best thing ever. And you have to be very aware of that, of okay, I'm not trying to hit these 1 billion people. I'm trying to get to 1,000, right? I try to find my 1,000 listeners is my goal right now, right? And that's from this book of be very selective of who your audience is, and do not feel bad when people don't like your product, because oftentimes it's just not for them. And obviously there's caveats there. Maybe your product sucks, right? You always have to be looking for honest feedback, but be very aware of okay, maybe it's just not for them. Next, I'm going to say next so much in this series. Choose your extremes and you choose your market. This is how you stand out. This is all about, okay, what do you stand for? What are your 2 things? So for this podcast right now, I'm looking at, I want to be fun and I want to be insightful. All right. So I want this to be a podcast where it's really funny and it's really insightful. For example, you might go to Costco. You might say it's really cheap and it's really friendly, right? Like the customer experience is super easy. It's a great deal. I can get everything I want and everything's really cheap. You might go to, I know I'm going to say Rolex again, but you go to Rolex and you go, okay, that's prestige and that's cost, right? It's really costly and it's really prestigious. And for some people, that's what they want. So you want to be extreme in 2 areas because that helps you differentiate yourself. And you go, I'm really different because these are my 2 things, and I'm really diving into that. And that will help you isolate a lot of individuals. And it's also nice because you funnel people out. You go, okay, well, these are my 2 extremes. People are going to go, well, that's not for me. You go, great. But it's for other people. And so that'll help you kind of find your niche. When marketing change, you're offering a new emotional state, a step closer to their dreams and desires of your customer. We sell feeling, status, and connection, not task or stuff. This is a throwback to the one I said at the start, but I just want to remind you again, because it's a really important part. You're not selling a product. You're selling a feeling and emotion, right? You're selling things such as belonging, community, delight, friendship, good looks, health, luxury, nostalgia. That's what you're selling. A single product. Every good customer gets you another one. That's one of the best things about the 1,000 super fan theory that Seth Godin talks about, which I love, is if you do it right, you're going to get customers that are going to get you other customers, right? Taylor Swift fans tell everyone about Taylor Swift because they love Taylor Swift. I tell everyone, about the shoes I have because I really like my shoes, right? So I'll tell people about that. Whatever it is, go for super fans, go for super customers because they will love you and they will spread the word for you. And that is the most powerful marketing, is mouth to mouth, word to word, mouth to mouth. Yeah, mouth to mouth marketing. This is what tension feels like. The tension of being left behind, and marketers who use change cause tension. That was poorly said. That was a bad sentence to pick, but the meaning there is cause tension. Cause a feeling of like you're in or you're out, right? It's like, okay, like you're someone who wears Nike or you're someone who doesn't wear Nike. Or you're somebody who shops at Costco or you're someone who doesn't shop at Costco. Like there should be a distinctive, like you do it or you don't, right? Like I'm a Costco person. I like Costco. I'm a Squid Games person. I like Squid Games. I'm a podcast person. I love podcasts, right? Like you got to like be like, all right, are you in or out? And that creates tension there. And people don't want to be left behind because it's a status thing of, okay, well, I'm a college student, right? And there's a clear distinction of people who are college students or not college students. And I want people to know that I'm a college student because that's a status thing. That's how people view me. And if you make clear distinction and clear lines, that can create tension and people aren't more inclined to join in. Building off that, people are intensely aware of their relative status, meaning we know where we stand in the totem pole of life. And that is a big motivator for change is, okay, what's my status? And the status can mean many things. It could be status of my income. It could be social status. How cool am I? It could be attractiveness status. It could be political status. And people want to adjust their status. And a big thing that he says in here is actually people want to maintain their status more than change their status, which I would agree with. But the idea there is play with status because status is actually a big motivator. And once again, I'm going to say this one time because I don't want this to be the point of the message. This stuff is not for manipulating people, right? Like I think a lot of people hear this sometimes and they go, well, like status and ego and feelings and this, like that sounds manipulative. And the idea is like, look, partially it is. But the reality is you need to learn this stuff because one, it's what actually motivates people, right? And I don't think it's actually a bad thing to understand what people actually are motivated by, like status, ego, emotions. And then also you should know that so then you don't get manipulated, right? I think in a business sense, it's different. It's like, okay, well, no, I'm prompting you to look into my product and buy it. And yes, and I'm learning how to like get your attention. Like that's a normal thing of our society. Where this can get dangerous is, you can see that in toxic relationships or gaslighting or things like that. So I think this is great for business. And I also think this is great for relationships. And I want to, say like use this stuff for the right reasons. And it's not innately bad to learn about how ego and how status and how emotions affect us in our lives. All right, getting to the end here. We're almost done. We scan instead of study. And when we scan, we're asking, what does this remind me of? This is really, really important. Because this is hitting on the concept of we like reliability. We like what we already see, right? We like to go to Walmart because Walmart is what we've always been going to and we feel safe in that environment. We know it's going to be good. Right now I'm listening to Two Bears, One Cave. I love it. And I'm listening to old podcasts. Like I'm listening to like episode 50. They're on episode like almost 300 or something. And I've been listening to episode 50 to 60 last week. Why? Because it's feels safe. It feels like community. Like I know it's going to be funny. I don't have to take a risk. And so you got to be around for a long time. And that's actually a big part of marketing is don't jump ship too early because what you do now is building the foundation for trust and building the foundation for feeling safe. And it's that safety net and that reliability and that comfortability and recognition of, oh, they've always been here. That familiarity is what brings people back. And last but not least, step one is to make a product or service that people care enough to search for specifically. You cannot win in a generic search, but you'll always win if the search is specific enough. And this is saying, his point there is don't try and do 100, don't try and spend all your time on SEO, search engine optimization, and try and be the first person that pops up when you look up podcasts. When you look up Building the Blueprint with Nick Batchelder, I'm the first one that pops up. And the idea there is stop spending so much time on being the first one that pops up and start spending all your time on creating a product and creating a culture that people will look up specific prompts for. People should be searching for me. They shouldn't just be searching for podcasts. And if you create a great enough product and a great enough culture and a great enough service, then people will do that, right? And my biggest takeaways from this book are be very selective with who you're trying to serve, give them all your attention, and don't worry about all the noise, right? Don't try and appeal to everybody. Create your super fans, appeal to them, help them with their status, with their emotions, with their ego, and, make it a world where they're going to miss you if you were gone. Create a product that actually helps them, that's actually good for this world, and that they're actually willing to invest time in. And that's a really impressive thing because time is valuable and we don't like to do things. We don't want to try new things. And if you can create something that people are spending time on, that's very impressive. And with that being said, that is episode 1 in the books of 15-minute summaries. I'll see you next time. Comment down below any episodes you want to see.